at the autonomous driving in Berlin this week, organized by we.CONECT, and I'm here with Danny Shapiro, and we're going to have a discussion about autonomous driving and his role in this revolution or evolution. Nobody knows. Welcome, Danny. Let's introduce you.
Thanks. Well, it's great to be here. I just flew in from Silicon Valley, so I'm based out in California. I work at Nvidia. We're a processor company, and I'd be wondering why is Nvidia at a self-driving car conference. But I'm the senior director of our automotive group. We have a team that's focused on bringing really advanced technologies into the car.
All right. Well, Danny, let me know one thing. Why is there so much hype about autonomous driving technology?
It definitely is the case. It's been in the news a lot, and out in California where I live, we see self-driving cars in an experimental mode on the highway every day. Usually these cars are filled with PCs, and I think there's also really just been a race for different automakers to develop technology that will let these cars drive themselves. But I think what's really changed recently is the fact that we can now bring advanced computing, the types of computing horsepower that's needed to make these cars drive by themselves, but it's been shrunk down into a mobile form factor. And that's part of what we do, is take advanced processing from all different markets, from supercomputing to PCs and workstations, but now into mobile, and we're able to deliver that for the automotive customer.
That sounds quite interesting right there. How do automakers keep up with the pace of innovation in consumer electronics?
That's a really big challenge. As you know, new cell phones and new tablets are coming out all the time. A car, of course, lasts much longer, and the development cycle for an automaker is quite a bit longer too. The challenge is that somebody buys an expensive car, they get in that car, they want that experience to feel current. They want that experience to mirror the kinds of graphics, the kinds of interactivity that you get on your phone and tablet. What we've been doing is working with automakers for about a decade now to bring advanced graphics technologies into the car, and we're doing it in a modular way so that they can develop systems that will have really long legs, that will last a long time, but it can be updated. And so each model year, maybe, a new car maker can bring Nvidia technology, the most current Nvidia technology, to market.
Right.
We've created a module. So it's an automotive grade module, of course, then that can be updated by the manufacturer and also through software updates.
What is it that you'd say is unique about that Nvidia's automotive solution in that respect?
Well, we have a wide range of technologies. We work with the visual effects industry, and basically every film that's come out in the last decade that's using any kind of visual effects uses Nvidia technology. So our graphics and rendering is the best, bar none. We work with doctors and medical imaging. We work in oil and gas exploration in terms of doing seismic imaging. So we have an incredible amount of investment we've made in R&D in all these types of different technologies. We're now actually bringing that imaging and computer vision technology into the car. So that's something that's unique in terms of the software investment we have, but also the type of processing power that we create. So if you look across the globe, the top 10 supercomputers in the world that are the most energy efficient supercomputers are all powered by Nvidia. And now what we're doing is taking that same supercomputing architecture, and we can bring that down into a mobile processor that can go in the car. There's nobody else that's doing that level of work today. And that type of supercomputing power in the car is exactly what's needed by all the people in the conference here. A lot of the sessions today have been talking about the different challenges that the automakers face processing all the data from cameras, from radar, from LiDAR, and other sensors. And so a very powerful mobile supercomputer is what's needed.
Okay. What does the GPU have to do with all that? What's that?
So a GPU is a graphics processing unit. It differs from a CPU, which is a central processing unit. CPUs today maybe have 4 cores. If it's a really big CPU, maybe it has 8 cores. The GPU is designed to do massively parallel processing. And what we've introduced is our new Tegra K1. It was just introduced last month at CES. That processor has a quad-core CPU, but inside it also has a GPU with 192 cores. So again, it's a supercomputer architecture we brought into a mobile form factor, very tiny chip about the size of your thumbnail, and it can do computer vision. So it can sense what's coming into the car via cameras and other sensors, determine what's a pedestrian, or do lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, or just general collision avoidance. And as was discussed in one of the sessions today by Audi, what used to take up a whole trunk of a vehicle to do the processing has now shrunk down to a very small form factor, and that's using our Nvidia Tegra K1.
It just interests me at that point. How far are you in actually integrating that technology that you're talking about into cars at the moment? How's that coming along?
It's great. We actually have 4.5 million cars on the road today with Nvidia processors. A big part of that is on the instrument clusters. They've gone all digital. Or the infotainment systems. If you look at Audis, Volkswagens, BMWs now, the newest infotainment systems for navigation and for radio and heating and cooling are powered by Nvidia graphics. The next wave is moving into advanced driver assistance systems, and that is going to really take off, I believe. We have contracts to produce processors for an additional 25 million cars over the next several years. So it's a very big and important business for Nvidia. And as was just recently discussed, the self-driving or the piloted modes for parking and traffic jam assist with the Nvidia processors will be on the roads before the end of the decade.
Well, we'll see on that. And it's just one thing that might get people to get an idea of what's happening here in Berlin in these 2 days. How do you feel the community is coming along? Is it getting somewhere? Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure in there, or are we going to have to meet back?
No, I don't know if I'd call it pressure. I think there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of energy around this topic. You know, as your first question was the hype. Well, I think it's real too. Right? There's a lot of interest. You look at how long the car's been around, and it really hasn't changed that much. We now have an incredible amount of technology coming into the car that is really breakthrough in terms of how people interact with their cars, the experience they can have in their car. I mean, cars today now are connected, right? That's relatively new, but that means a lot of new information coming into the car. The navigation system we developed with Audi is a connected navigation system. So you have live streaming Google Earth coming into the car. You have Street View, so you can get a full 360-degree panorama of wherever you want to go in the world that's been mapped. And again, it's sort of changing the way people interact with their cars. And at the conference here, then you have, I think, the leaders in these advanced technologies all coming together to share ideas, to learn from each other, and to work together.
Let's wrap this up and get you back to talking and challenging your peers. Thanks for the talk.
Well, thank you very much.
It was a pleasure to meet you.